First of all, we don't think 2 years in advance. We probably think 10, 20 years in advance in our practice. Personally, for myself and in our practice, it's really important for us to be aware of what's going on in the world and have a long-term trajectory on it. And we know that the world is in tremendous transition. We know that there is global transformation. The transformation is coming from new knowledge, scientific developments, new technologies. We know that 10 years from now, we will have autonomous cars, our transportation system will change. We know that our communications will change dramatically. Our buildings, our environments will communicate directly with us. We know we will probably have we have robotics anyway. We know that there are many, many new technologies that are transforming the way we have ever done things in the past. So we know that our challenges are big. Therefore, we like to think about the big influences. And the major influences for us in our practice are definitely ones that are shaping our world. We know that globalization is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Our world is shrinking ever more rapidly.
Correct.
As we move around the world, there is far greater, far more migration. It used to be in the past that young people would find work opportunities in the next city over or in a metropolis in their nation, but increasingly we know that a normal young professional today can go from starting in one continent and have worked in 3 by the time they've finished their work trajectory. Migration is huge. We know that there is a growing population. We know that by 2030, the world's population is expected to double. If that's the case, then we're looking at needing to be far more creative with our resources, with our processes, with our ideologies, with our knowledge for architecture, for interiors, and all of our products. And we also need to be very responsible because our resources have a big implication given this kind of growth of the human species. We know that we're all living a lot longer. We know that we have an aging population. That is true everywhere in the world. And that means that in our work environments, in our communities, in our educational environments, airports, any single function that we design for, we have to be concerned with a much larger variety of demographics than we have ever done before. And certainly I know that the workplace is very cognizant of it and developing more and more knowledge for this, but we need this and across the board in all of our functions. And so in the work environment, we know that we can have everything from a 75-year-old to an 18-year-old in the workplace with different capabilities, comprehension, skills, mobility within the office, health. So increasingly the designer's role is expanding, I think, and we do need multi-layers of knowledge. We need multidisciplinarity, but at the same time we need a much larger depth of knowledge, design knowledge, and that I think we need to do a lot more research. We need to understand human emotion, human experience, human behavior, human interaction, and things that in the past, ideas and knowledge that was less so. I think we focused more on fashion, regular fashion, fashion-forward statements, cycles of change that were more stylistic. So lifestyle, I think, is very different in the next 10 years. Well, I think there with health and wellness, I think we focus more on well-being. because our environment shape who we become, the beings that we are. And for that well-being, we think that the big shifts that have taken place is, up until now, we were very much reacting to good health. And it was always a reaction and an after-the-fact consequence. But increasingly, there is an approach toward preventive health, taking care of what our health is on a day-to-day basis. Everything from the very young. I think our teenagers are as concerned with good health as much more senior people in our society. And that's a wonderful thing. But then translating well-being and wellness into the environment expands the notion of design in all aspects. So thinking about the right quality of comfort, light levels, sound levels, textural qualities, an environment that allows for an individual to get up, move around, that prompts and prods the individual to think about, to not lose attention with their whatever activity, whether it's work or I'm cooking a meal, whatever function, because we in our practice, we have a diversity of clientele. We design for the hospitals, we design for educational institutions, for corporate office, for showrooms, retail. We have a small percentage of residents. So we think about these issues as similar in all functions. And we know that functionally there is less and less barrier or distinction between one function to the next. There are large overlaps, and the overlaps begin to allow us to be more relaxed, to support our innate approaches to what we do and how we feel. And I suppose that's the other thing. We are concerned about how we feel, and so the ideas of sensory well-being, perception, our behaviors, that knowledge, historically, we haven't had great benchmarks for. Increasingly, we have to develop very fast because they are shaping our future world.